Hi guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I am your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and today we're talking about this gorgeous, beautiful full moon eclipse as a part of a kite of great success that could also be about blessed beginnings as we close out difficult endings. We're going to look at each of how all of us gets to feel this goodness in our sky based on our sun, moon, and rising sign. Always check your rising sign out first. It will be the most circumstantially accurate. You can use your sun around purpose and career, your moon about how you'll be feeling in the month ahead after this moon. Now, before I talk about all signs, I'm going to talk about the general meaning, because I do think this moon, because it's on lucky star Alnitak from Orion's belt, powerful star Betelgeuse as well, that possibly this particular gorgeous full moon at 27 degrees of Gemini on the 18th of December could also spell the end of the pandemic. And I've been talking about this in all of my videos based on all kinds of factors. Now, in your own life and in the life of the collective, go back in your mind and think back to what was happening in June of 2021 when we had an eclipse at 19 Gemini, which was therefore a new moon at 19 Gemini. This is a full moon. It's bringing something to close, or it's bookending what was beginning and what was happening then. Well, when it comes to the pandemic, back in June, it was the beginning of all of the news cycle about the Delta variant and how dangerous it could be, and how, this is a game changer. And it led to Jupiter retrograding around June 21st, 2 days after that particular eclipse, and everybody backpedaled. It was time to wear masks again. Don't forget, you might have forgotten that around May 11th, it was the CDC. Everyone take your masks off, just have fun. It's all good. You've been vaccinated. And then we're backpedaling, right? After that new moon in Gemini. And Gemini is about the lungs, by the way. And we all backpedaled and was masking up and was, booster shots, and it was Delta surges. Now, if that's what was happening back in the new beginning, new moon, way back in the 19th or so of June last, behind me, then coming forward here, we have a completion. And this new moon at 27 degrees, if you just round it up, is a 9. Nine is a number of endings. Plus we have all these lucky things going on in the sky. I'm going to show you a picture of this kite in the sky, the backbone formed by the opposition between the sun and the moon. All full moons are that condition, right? So we have the sun in Sagittarius. This is Sag season. And across the way, we have the moon. And then we have involved in this kite, Hygeia, the goddess of healing in Libra, the god of the sign of balance. And we also have on the other crossbar of the kite, Jupiter, the god of luck, moving direct around 28 degrees of Aquarius. So we have a lot of shift energy, and kites individually in our natal charts can bring areas where we see success happen, like in a natal chart, birth chart. But in the collective sky, there's just this kind of whoosh of something good trying to lift off. Now, in addition to like the thing about the pandemic, there are other things where, we could see breakthroughs that look like some momentum around Jupiter themes of justice or travel or Hygeia, health and healing and hygiene coming to bear. Also in the sky at the same time, Mercury is in a perfect relationship to Chiron, which is a square, while he also trines Uranus. This can look like something to do with Chiron healing of the wound, right? As Chiron stations to go direct the day after this moon, and Mercury, the news cycle and information out of Capricorn, reliable, institutional, solid information, and Uranus, something electrifying, unexpected, or sudden. So I'm not sure what that side story is about necessarily. I might make some speculative guesses that, for instance, it could be things to do with corrections around mercurial things, markets like merchandising, markets, mercantile. The stock market correction could happen, but we need it. So the trine from Uranus, it's not necessarily, it's jolting, but it's healing because there's chironic elements in there. Just some thoughts, but on the whole, I'm feeling the good news coming out of this moon, and a sort of a blessedness about new beginnings and a fresh start, closing out a chapter of difficult and tiresome and wearisome storylines that began mid-June of 2021. So I'm going to show you a quick picture of what the kite looks like, so you know what a kite looks like. And then after that, we're going to go into the all signs portion. A couple other small details about this kite, but before I tell you, like, subscribe, please make comments and all that, help my channel grow. I would so appreciate that. Sign up for my newsletter below. You get an amazing 30% discount reading with me immediately. You get the code as soon as you sign up. You get a bunch of free things, a free annual perfections course when you sign up, and you get in a draw every month for a free reading. I love giving one reading a month away from my 750 subscribers. Please help me reach 1,000. I'm aiming for that new height. Also, I have a bunch of stuff for sale, but look below. My year ahead readings just went out for all signs on YouTube. Check out the playlist. If you want to get the longer reading, which extends it by at least 45 minutes, then you can buy the all signs bundle or individual readings below. Done. Check the description box for all that information. Done. So one more thing about the kite. You know, I do think sometimes we get stuck looking at the sky in a sort of monochrome way, meaning that we look at the planets and we forget about the stars, we forget about the asteroids, we forget about the devils and the details is kind of how I put it. So I'm going to tell you a couple more cool little things going on. So Lunatic, of course, I mentioned earlier, super lucky Orion spelt star. Just call it luck. Couldn't we use a little luck right now, individually and collectively, sitting on that moon, as well as Betelgeuse, who waned and went almost dark. You know, it's a very bright star, has blue or red, depending, it changes color. And it kind of really went dark just as the pandemic was beginning back in 2019 into early 20. Astronomers didn't know why, because it is considered a star of fortune and wealth and luck. And it started to go into dim mode. Now it's come back up to its normal, I think, magnitude of brightness. Just want you to know that Betelgeuse star, along with Lunatic, is sitting on the moon, along with Menkalannan, which is also a very powerful star. It has to deal with how we deal with life's burdens with responsibility and courage, but also there's this iron fist velvet glove piece, and how you can wield power with a gentle outside edge, right? So I'll leave that to you to think about how in your own life you want to wield iron fist power, but with a velvet glove, because this moon is at the base of the kite. And I'm going to show that to you in a minute. Well, a little tidbit is that the place where Chiron goes direct the day after the eclipse is the exact same place where Jupiter will station retrograde on July 28th. And I think that's just a fascinating thing. Also around July 28th, there's this electrifying sky with Uranus on the north node. So something about what's going on where we see the day after this moon, let's say on the 19th of December, that whatever Chiron the healer is up to, Jupiter's going to amplify it and make it even more intense as he stations retrograde on July 28th. I do think this is about healing the collective wound of being traumatized. We all have collective post-traumatic stress about the pandemic. I don't think that any of us has come unscathed through the time of feeling afraid for your life, your friends' lives, seeing people we love die. Not sure if this has all been fear-mongering and over the top. You know, it's true that less than 1% of people will actually die, way less than 1% from the pandemic, because so many people were getting it. And there were so many numbers, of course, people died. But the thing is that, the collective psyche has been, well shook, right? And, Chiron can be that healing quality in Aries. He's kind of strong in Aries, guys, because he's a mentor of healers and heroes, and Aries is the heroes and the warrior vibe. So I think we could feel it's like, something coming through like a breath of fresh air and a sigh of relief as Omicron turns out to be mild compared to Delta and becomes endemic very quickly, because its R naught factor is it's replicating 2.5. For every person who gets it, they give it to 2.5 people, who give it to 2.5 people, who give it to 2.5 people. That's much more transmissible than Delta. And therefore, it is now taking Delta out. Delta is going to be gone within like 3 months. We won't have Delta anywhere in the world anymore, which is good because Delta was more deadly. And hopefully Omicron is the panacea or the cure-all. I did talk about that in another video. Go check out my Mercury in the Heart of the Sun with Kazemi on the 29th of November. And I talked about Omicron because I felt like it was Mercury in the Heart of the Sun with Panacea, telling us something was coming that was the remedy for all, or the cure-all. The all being the all of the world. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you the kite, and then I'm going to do all signs. And here is the kite. I took a lot of planets out to simplify this, right? So we're looking at the simplest sky possible. And I think you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, how simple this actually is. Now, This is one of those positive aspect formations that can come into the sky every now and then, and it happens to be anchored into a particularly powerful full moon. So I think it has something to say about how things will go over the next 2 weeks, even up to a month. So what I said already, Hygeia, hygiene, you know, masking up, healing, the goddess of healing, daughter of Asclepius, she's an asteroid, something is healing. The moon is the anchor under the lucky stars of Betelgeuse and Alnitak and Menkalannan. And then we have Jupiter, who's just Mr. Jupiter, luck, juice, opportunity, growth, expansion. Still got Saturn lording over him, authority, rules, structure, and bureaucracy, but he's trying to bring us some good news and direct motion. And we also have, of course, the sun up here. I forgot to take Mars out, but you know, it's good to point out that Mars in Sag, he likes to do social justice, warrior, zealot, truth seeker, tell the truth, you know, fight for truth, fight for justice. So he's up there with that sun supporting this particular moon. One of the last things I want to note here is that I do think that this sky, I simplified, a lot of planets aren't here, has something about it to do with that. I did say it earlier, but I do sometimes just look at the number 2 and 7, go, that 9 means completions or endings. And then, you know, if I really wanted to get picky, you know, it's happening around 28 minutes, 27 degrees and 28 minutes on December 18th. So 28 is a 1, which is new beginnings. Okay. And if I take that 2, 8, 7 and 2 and add it up, okay, I end up with the number 19, which is the sun, which is about joy and vitality and radiance, sun in the tarot card, and light and freshness and innocence and joy. So just the numerology makes me feel good. I don't know, guys, I just feel like something positive is going to happen. And I think I'm going to do the all signs with the idea of a kite in your sky, with the place you hold the kite is where the moon sits, and the place where the peak of height of success is where the sun sits in the opposite position. Jupiter is supporting that with good luck, and Hygeia bringing healing. So we're going to do all signs, check rising sign first, sun, and then moon. Ready, set, let's go. So I am going to open up my screen on the back. I'm not going to share it with you guys because I'm liking better that I'm looking at you and you're looking at me lately, because I find some people don't like to look at the chart, and I don't know, it's a toss up. I could have a vote among my subscribers, but oh well. So we're going to start today with Leo, because in Vancouver, Canada, Leo is the placement of the horizon line at the exact time of this moon. And I want you to all remember that the moon is happening at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, on the 18th of December, but then depending on where you live, that will change. So adjust your time zone accordingly. All right, let's get going. So let's start with Leo, and hang on. I lost a piece of my real estate here. Here, okay. I lost you guys. I couldn't find you. Sorry, I'm babbling. Let me get you open again. All right, now I've got it. I don't know. I'm having tech issues, but I'll just pretend that I'm not. All right, so number 1, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. The handhold of the kite is the moon in your 11th house of good spirit under the light of those 3 lucky stars. This is a karmic and cosmic reward house full of ka-ching. You could have fairy godmother and genie in a bottle vibe. You could have great gains coming to you all of a sudden from your career path. You could have a sense that life is just loving you up, because the moon here is shining a bright light and an illumination in the place of your inspiration, aspiration, hopes, dreams, and wishes, etc. So this is a time of renewed hope about your deeper wishes and dreams for your life, and a sense of being just plain old lucky in the couple of weeks that follow this moon. But the moon is lifting a kite into the sky that wants to achieve solar success in your 5th house of pregnancy, childbirth, independent business enterprise, inspiration, writing, creativity, the muse, performing, sexuality, joy, play, and pleasure. You know, the fun house. Between the moon under the light of those lucky stars and the sun in another luck house, this is just a very auspicious 2 weeks to up to a month after this moon. Go back, of course. What were you planting in June of 2009, in 2021, that you are culminating in the couple of weeks ahead? Okay, so Leo's also, Jupiter lends a little support, extra luck through your spouse or significant other, maybe some good news from them or about them. And there's some healing from Hygeia regarding your relationship to your local neighborhood or your siblings, or you're writing something and you're getting great healing inspiration there, or 3rd house trips and travel. So healing with Hygeia here could be healing the mental, emotional, physical layers of that third house quality. All right. I think that's all I want to say because we're sticking with the kite. I'm not going to go into the Chiron story. No, I'm going to stick with the kite. Or do I want to stick with the kite? Yeah, I'm sticking with the kite. Give me a minute. I'm just advancing to the next sign. All right. So you earthy Virgo, sun, moon, and especially rising sign people, this kite is being held in the hand by the moon in your 10th house of your work and career and your reputation. And there's luck up there. There's 3 lucky stars, as I mentioned, Menkalannan, Betelgeuse, and Lunatic. And so you've got a great amount of luck going on up in the reputation, career portion of your sky. When I say reputation, it also can be status changes like I'm engaged or I'm married or I'm divorced or you know what I mean. Those reputational statuses have a lot of luck around them. And the sun is coming into, its storyline at the tip of the kite in your 4th house of home and land and real estate and family of origin and maybe your mom. So your mom may have some lucky breakthroughs, but you also could find that your experience of things to do with your home over the next 2 weeks is going to be very, very positive, like success in the career home axes. And even though the sun and moon are in an opposition, because it's a kite, it's trying to get lift off in that home territory. Jupiter is bringing some kind of lucky breaks in the work life, the work routines and the health routines. So Jupiter is like, hey, let me give you a little golden horseshoe of luck here. Maybe a colleague gives you a good rave with the boss, or you get a promotion, or you get some more money. Or for some of you Virgos, if you want a new job, it's great over the next 2 weeks, till the end of the month, really, of December, to get an amazing lucky break with a new job. And maybe close to home, right? Sun and really close to home, like across the street from where you live. And then lastly, Hygeia on the crossbar of the kite from Jupiter is anchoring money positivity for you. This is definitely like as well healing any money stress you may have been under recently. If you've been feeling like your money's going out too quickly, you're spending it too fast, you're getting that balance of the Libra Hygeia, healing the money balance, right? You may have been feeling you need to get into balance because Hygeia has been traveling through your money house of earnings and possessions and resources. And now this kite will bring into fruition over the next 2 weeks to even a month after December 18th, money healing as well. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Guess what? The kite is being held by the moon under the light of those 3 lucky stars, Lunatic and Betelgeuse and Menkalannan, and it's going to be completing something that you may have begun in June of 2021 in your 9th house of God, truth, soul, and wisdom, the 9th house of trips and travels and foreign shores, and the 9th house of God, and the 9th house of temples and spiritual community, and the 9th house of higher education. Now, some people, if you are a teacher or professor, guide, or mentor to others, then this is something you could be about something you began teaching in June. And if you're a student and you're a Libra rising, sun or moon, then this is going to be also about that, particularly that area of life. Now, with the sun shining brightly in your 3rd house of your skills-based education, short trips and travels, siblings, and self-expression, especially writing. This could be, and the 9th house is book publishing. Some Libras are on fire with opportunity to be successful in book publishing through something that they're writing. Go back to June. Did you start writing something there? Similarly, trips and travel are being supported for you to be auspicious and full of success, whether domestically or not. The anchor in the 9th house suggests it could be both foreign shores or domestic travel. Jupiter wants to bring some luck. And ho, 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 Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus from your 5th house of creative expression, romance, fun, play, pleasure, sexuality, and speculative money investments taking off. Just a note, you do have Uranus in your 8th house and will until 2025. You can have sudden dramatic shifts in wealth with that placement until then. So who knows, this could be one of those times. Then Next, you have this energy of, it's a busy sky, guys. I'm trying to simplify it. You have this energy of Hygeia, the goddess of healing and bringing wholeness, mental, emotional, and physical to your body. She's in Libra. You've been trying to balance your health and your body, probably. Okay, I'm not going to guarantee it, but you've probably been trying to find balance there recently. She's been going through your sign, and so your identity of your physical body. And so maybe this is a time where over the last month, that's been a priority. And now this kite gives you the opportunity over the next 2 weeks to lift up higher and higher with physical vitality, health, fun, play, pleasure, inspiration, the muse. All things are good. An illustrious, positive direction for all of my Libra people. I like this a lot, this sky, I really do. I feel so good about this moon, as you can tell. So Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Scorpio folk, I gotta get comfy here. So let me move my leg. I'm sitting on these bar stools, guys. I need to figure out something to do here on this bar stool to make myself not feel like I'm uncomfortable. All right. So Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. The moon is being held in your natal ninth house, and your ninth house is the house of, I'm sorry, your natal eighth house, I apologize, Scorpio, of resources that don't belong to you, like inheritances, bank loans, spousal money, jointly held monies, grants, stipends, tax rebates. I'm just making a bunch of stuff up, but it's not your paycheck, okay? And so with this moon in that part of the sky, something is trying to be lifted up from the house of those resources. Sometimes the eighth house is selling a possession, selling a car, selling a house, especially. So you're trying to lift up some resources financially, or the universe is helping you. And it's pointing, of course, to the sun across the way in your second house of earnings, your second house of paychecks. Now, this definitely could look like, for some of you, some financial boon, maybe because Jupiter in the house of real estate. It means that some of you will sell property, find the best price possible, get the best mortgage possible, or do something in your home that lends itself to a financial bounty in the couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks over the course of this full moon. Now, go back to June. What was percolating to do with home and real estate and money? And, Jupiter is a god of inheritances, and I don't want to get you in a bummer mode, but Jupiter in the eighth house can bring legacy money. And so therefore somebody in your upline could pass money on to you. And just because the moon is happening, we're talking about a story that's longer than the month ahead, okay? We're technically saying this could roll out until next June when we have another new moon in Gemini. So there's a little bit of always a longer story than the 2 weeks ahead. You can also count on Hygeia, the goddess of healing, the goddess of wellness, emotional, mental, from your house of addictions and self-undoing, self-sabotaging habits and patterns, lending an air of balance, Libra, to you. She's in the 12th house, cross-barring Jupiter. For instance, for some of you, it could be the financial bounty considered around real estate or legacy wealth allows you to release some self-defeating, self-sabotaging, self-undoing habits and patterns. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. So let me just pause for a second and just check something before I tell you about you. I just keep losing my picture of me, which doesn't usually happen. And I can't tell if I'm still in the screen. So I'm coming back to you guys, okay. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. You can fully expect that the moon being held in the 7th house of primary love relationship, your marriage partner, sometimes business partnerships, with the sun in the house of your body, your identity, and your sense of self. You, first of all, you love Sag season. You're a Sag. It's where you get to feel good about you being you again. All right, so keep that in mind, right? Which was coming to a close on December 22nd or so, but you're in the middle of that season. It's about a month long, right? Like the 3rd week of November to the 3rd week of December. It's all about you. And now here's this kite, with a peak in the house of you, but the energy of the moon in the 7th house, meaning that you're extracting self-radiant, good feeling vibes from others. Now, this is marriage partners, right? But it can also be significant friendships, and it can also be business partners, just the others, even your fan base, if you have one, or marketplace for your business. So those people are feeding your vitality, and it's really picking up steam. Go back to June, though, at the new moon, 22, the one that I talked about in the beginning of the reading, because that's where you were beginning things that this moon is fulminating or culminating or bringing to a fullness right now. You can find that Jupiter, like a Santa Claus ho ho, at 28 degrees of Aquarius, making a crossbar, by the way, to Hygeia, is in your third house of your siblings and your local neighborhood, pubs and bars and restaurants. And, it can be the online world if you're into that. If you're a single Sag, I'd suggest you start looking at dating apps like Hinge or Plenty of Fish or whatever, because, the third house I found with my clients is where people meet people in the virtual neighborhood. So dating apps. But Jupiter is going to bring you luck in this area. Sibling stress or difficulties or aunts, uncles, and cousins can come into a greater sense of harmony and joy right now. With Hygeia in your 11th house of good spirit, just like saying, let's bring you in touch with your hopes, dreams, and wishes. Let's bring you up, level you to a greater sense of gratitude and joy. And that 11th house can be even a sense of the greater gains from your career that may be available to you, like promotions, raises, and bonuses. So all of this, though, is about you feeling really good about you. Maybe for a while you've not felt great about you, or you've been feeling like you had to heal your deepest dreams and wishes and hopes for your life. Because Hygeia going through this part of your sky in the last month, she only does it roughly, I'm not sure, but most asteroids 4 or 5 years. So, you're really reassessing and healing some of those aspirations and deeper heartfelt wishes for your life. And now this is a time of things really feeling like moving forward or getting lift, success, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Capricorns, the moon will be holding the handle of this kite in your 6th house of health protocols and routines, daily habits and routines around your work, the workplace where your colleagues, coworkers are, or if you're an employer, where your employees are. And this zone of influence is allowing the sun to shine at the tip of a kite, under the light of those beautiful lucky stars in your 12th house of your dreams at night, yes, and your inner life, but also your self-sabotage and undoing of yourselves through whatever means, too much alcohol, too much weed, too much cigarettes, too much escaping to Netflix, whatever you've been doing, like burying your head in the sand or something, all of a sudden this light of the sun moon combination is going to shift that, especially if you have bad habits, because the whole 6-12 axis can get you out of those ruts and get you moving out of them. Now, sun in the 12th could be a patriarchal or male figure who might have some situation going on in the undercover back end, like your boss or something, secret deals that benefit you in some way. How? Financially, because Jupiter is in your 2nd house of earnings and possessions and value, but it's really the resources you need to survive feeds the 1st house of your body. And so all of a sudden, backroom deals with an authority figure, like a boss or someone in power, from the workplace 6th house vibe, giving you more money. And Hygeia, she's cross-barring from Jupiter in your 10th house of career, where she's been trying to heal career and reputation things now for about, I guess, a little more than a month probably, or longer. And she's up there now participating in a success kite. Certainly go back to June of 2022 when we had the new moon, 21, when we had the new moon there, and ask yourself, what were you doing in June? The seeds that were you planting to do with money and career and powerful healing in your career direction or reputation that are now available to collect the fruit from the tree that you planted last June. Okay? Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, Aquarians, I'm one of you. I'm Aquarius rising. Saturn on my ascendant. All right, for you guys, this is a time where the moon is got the handhold, right, in your 5th house of inspiration, the muse, your creativity, your independent business enterprise, owning your own business, your children, and joy, fun, play, and pleasure, just enjoying life, enjoyment, joie de vivre, the spark and vitality of being able to breathe. Well, with the moon here, under the light of those 3 lucky stars, fruiting something that began last June, right? You're now culminating it in the 11th house solar energy of your deepest hopes, dreams, and wishes, great financial gain from your career, the genie in the bottle vibe, lots of luck, lots of feel good. Now, the sun could definitely be a solar figure, someone in power, blessing you with greater fame, with greater group connectivity, or greater gains in your career. But you know, you planted the seed in June. And I remember, like, what was I doing in June? I was packing my apartment up with an injured glute. I could barely walk. Thank God for my neighbor, Diallo, below me. He was like an angel who came into my life when I needed him to help me pack my car and move my stuff. And, you know, I literally could barely walk. I couldn't walk from, like, guys, I couldn't walk from June until like a month and a half ago. It was the worst injury I've had ever in my life. So don't ever tear the piriformis. You don't want to do that. So anyway, the reason I'm talking about me, because I'm Aquarius rising, is that was me planting the seeds of a new direction. I moved to Vancouver in June, and I traveled across the country, and I was planting new creative seeds because I seeded no less than 3 novel ideas during my drive. And I've just now signed up for a great screenplay writing course online. So my thought for me as an Aquarius is, one of my deepest aspirations was to have a successful screenplay published, or write a novel, because I'm an award-winning short fiction writer and poet. I thought, well, let's keep it going. But I stopped all of that in my 30s, and I'm finally going back. So think of your 11th house as a bucket list as well. What's on your bucket list? So this is for you Aquarians, us Aquarians. We're having this incredible next 2 or 3 weeks up to next June's new moon, where there's a fruiting of that part of our sky where we want to see our truest wishes and aspirations come to fruition. Now, Jupiter, ho, 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 Santa Claus in a house of our body is improving our health. Yes, I know a lot of us Aquariuses put on some weight when Jupiter's been going through our body house. I didn't injure myself until after he went retrograde, FYI, because I injured myself June 12th. But we have also felt more vital and more concerned with how to be healthy than we have in a lot of years. That's been very helpful for us Aquarians. Jupiter gets out of there December 28th, 29th, but we had him there for most of 2021. And the idea here is that he is in this moon giving us kite lift, you know, through more vitality and better robust health, and also feeling leaderful, joyful, magnanimous, and hopeful about ourselves. And then Hygeia in the 9th house of our Dharma, the path we're here to walk, house of book publishing, the house of spiritual guides and teachers. Sometimes Hygeia here can bring you a healer who's more like a guide or a mentor, right, than just like go to the doctor. But she is up there. She's been trying to help heal over the last month or so your sense of spiritual connection to the divine, your sense of agency around purpose and what you're really here for, all of that. And I find that, you know, this is for me been very lovely because she's bringing balance to our 9th house endeavors, and things to do with foreign shores and foreign lands, things to do with the words international, things to do with teaching and mentoring and guiding. That's all Hygeia up there. You know, I'll be doing a new course in February where I'm going to be guiding people and mentoring them. So that is very much also connected to the sky. Fruiting, because why? Because I'll be launching the website by the end of December. So probably anyway, I'm building it now. All right, so there you go. So this is fan-friggin-tastic. I will say Aquarius is we get the best of the kite out of all the signs. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. All right, double check that I'm still recording. I had one of those moments. Am I recording? You know, I do this all the time. I am recording. Can you imagine if I did all of this and I wasn't recording? You could just shoot me, right? Just shoot me. Just go ahead. You know, I don't think I could handle doing it all over again. All right, back in for Pisces. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Pisces folk, here's the deal. You are experiencing a very powerful kite because it's angular. The moon is in the root of the chart, your home base, the 4th house, the bottom of the night, the bottom of the sky. And then the sun is shining across the way in the 10th house, the house of your reputation and your career success and ambitions. Okay, yay for you. Obviously, this is a career takeoff energy with the moon anchoring the success from what you do in and from the home. Now, you know, you could also sell real estate or buy or sell real estate with the moon down here. There's no doubt about it. That's always a possibility because Mercury, as your Gemini ruler of your Gemini 4th house, is marketing, merchandising, and selling. And just planting that seed that this could be for some of you a sudden opportunity to buy or sell your home, especially given that Mercury is in a trine to Uranus and could be a sudden change of neighborhood or a sudden decision to sell or buy a home. But that aside, Jupiter is endeavoring to bring you luck and blessings and opportunity from your dreams at night, in your inner life, in your meditations. And, you know, Jupiter's in your deep inward place, right? Your 12th house, or spiritual guides, mentors, and teachers that you may be engaged with, who, by the way, would have very karmic and soulmate relationships to you, because Jupiter in your 12th house and 21 is bringing those people to you. My sister's a Pisces rising. She's been working with a shaman for the last year, training to be a shaman. That's exactly what Jupiter transit in your 11th house will do. Bring you a shaman teacher, bring you a guide, bring you a mentor. So this energy of Jupiter in the 12th could, for instance, for my sister, be that her guide mentor, the shaman she's working with, blesses her with an opportunity in the next 2 to 3 weeks that gives her a great boost in her career. And Hygeia is healing the money stuff for you Pisceans. Joint resources, spousal money, partner's money, business partner money, bank loans, resources, karmic debt, real debt, credit card debt, that kind of money. That's being healed. There's a balance and healing that's been going on over the last month or two with Hygeia going through your 8th house. And then this moon helps bring you financial benefit and lift, maybe through a business partner or your spouse, or something going on with your spouse, or through inheritances. The 8th house is inheritance. And then we get career and lift, and we get maybe property lift as well. So this is pretty sweet for you guys, I will say, because it's angular, the backbone of the kite, to 4 and 10. It has all-purpose intensity and lift and goodness. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. So first of all, for Aries people, the kite is being anchored in the 3rd house of your sky, which is the house where your siblings are, and sometimes your aunts and uncles and extended cousins and all of that. Trips and travel domestically, okay? Not usually long distance, but it's trains, planes, and automobiles. It can be about commuting. It's things in your local neighborhood. It's writing. If any of you Aries are writers, this is a great time for writing, any kind of writing, website writing, blog writing, book writing, write. You can write up a storm. And if you want to market and sell things, this is a good marketing and selling and promoting energy, the 3rd house. And so all of those things are getting a lunar kite, right? The moon holding the bottom of that 3rd house at 27 degrees of Gemini or 28, yeah. And with the sun up in your 9th house of book publishing, with 9th house of higher education and courses you can learn from and take. Like, I'm an Aries sun and moon. I mentioned earlier as an Aquarius, I'm taking the screenplay writing course. I just signed up. Totally fits what the sky's telling me it should happen. You can also find that court cases and legal affairs that revolve around courts and justice systems or visas for travel can suddenly clear up. Suddenly your vaccine passport works properly, or you don't even need one because there's no more pandemic. I don't know. Even though this moon unfolds over the next 3 weeks, or 4 weeks even, giving its story to you, it really kind of plays out until next June when we have a new moon in Gemini. So this energy is like there for that part of your sky. And then you also have Jupiter bringing luck, opportunity, expansion, and growth from the house of his joy, the 11th house of good spirit. Now, this is a nice spot for you, Aries. This is like a friend could act like a benefactor or an ally for you and give you a real boost around something to do with 9th house things, foreign shores, foreign lands, trips, travel, pilgrimages, temples, church, religion, belief, meaning of life, dharma, court cases, and or book publishing. And with Jupiter in your 11th house of joy, this is a very windfall-y vibe too. Pennies from heaven, lucky breaks, unexpected bonus points on the game board of life. And Hygeia, crossbar energy, is bringing healing in the house of primary love relationships and significant committed love, the 7th house. But also the 7th house is legal contracts as well, especially in Libra. So you may be forming, some of you Aries, like specific deals and legal contracts being signed, agreements being signed, that Hygeia is bringing great healing to you from a business partnership standpoint, from a partnership. Like, it could be divorce settlements going your way. It could be amazing luck and stuff like that. For your partner as well, that you're experiencing derivative benefits from, because Jupiter is trining Hygeia in the house of your partner. It could be their luck that you're really feeling the flow. And Hygeia is healing your desire, how you want to be in commitment to, whether it's your love life, your business partner life, how you want to be in right relationship with those others. This has been a longer arc of healing over the last couple of months with Hygeia in your 7th house, and now this kite's going to show you the way. Go back to June of 2021. What seeds were you planting in the themes I've just discussed? Because these seeds are now bearing some fruit, all right? Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. So for you Taurians, the energy is happening of the moon holding the base of a kite in your second house of money. Okay, Tauruses, I know a few Tauruses with financial challenges. This is turning your money story around. And this is resources, possessions, earnings, that kind of flow of money, and even voice, vocation, and calling are embedded into the second house. So the moon here, there's going to be moony money showing up for you through the also mechanism of the eighth house where the solar energy is during the moon, right? Sun is across the way in your eighth house. Well, that means that also some of the money goodness could be coming out of inheritances or tax rebates or relief from debt or your spouse's money or some business partner money, but it's not money that you're getting on a like a paycheck stub to paycheck stub, that you may experience great success or money coming from there. Now, you know, sun in the eighth can mean stands to inherit from a male figure in your life. So there's a possibility of a parent or grandparent or some male authority, a great uncle, I don't know, potentially bequeathing you some money as a result of this moon, you know, which can play out as far out as next June. So I just want to bring that up because it's possible, not necessarily probable, but it's possible, especially with Mars and Sagittarius. At the same time, Mars likes to cut, snip, and sever. So he's often associated with endings like death as well. Now, you have Jupiter bringing you career and reputation, illustrious luck and expansion. He's been in your 10th house through a lot of 2021. You've had no problem getting a job or getting accelerated or getting promoted or succeeding in your public reputation, okay? But now there's this last kind of whole hoopla with a kite, all right? And Jupiter's a part of it. And then Hygeia is healing the work environment. Now, I know one Taurus, son, my daughter, has been having a challenge with work environment. Enjoy. She doesn't enjoy the last two jobs she's had. You know, these are like minimum wage jobs, and because she's student age, right? And so Hygeia going through the sixth house is trying to heal something around your worth or how you feel about life and work and your duty and your obligation. Because you know that sixth house can be duty and drudgery, or it can be destiny. It can be service, or it can be servitude. So a lot of you Tauruses are trying to find that balance, Libra, sixth house, Hygeia there, healing a lack of balance around the themes of, am I being of service or am I in servitude? Is this drudgery and duty or is this destiny? How is that work showing up for you? Okay. You could heal a relationship with somebody in your workplace too after this moon. So tension with a colleague or a boss could be resolved thanks to this beautiful kite in the sky. And I think it's going to be quite lovely for you guys. And certainly it's time to stop stressing about money. And the next 2 or 3 weeks after this kite, I think you'll see what I mean. All right, Gemini, sun, moon, rising sign. You guys are having the moon anchoring the kite, obviously, in Gemini, which is you, right? It's your energy. It's your body. It's your sense of identity. It's all about you space of the chart. And because the moon is there shining brightly, so are you shining brightly. You are sort of outpitching solar energy into the world. You can be outpitching a lot of vitality and joy as well, coming from your connected marriage partner relationship or business partner relationship. Or if you're a Gemini in the online world, through the sun moving through your seventh house, a flash of fame or popularity or success with the audience and marketplace. And this is making you feel very full, and it's fruiting something that started last June, right? So go back to June. What seeds did you plant for this fruit to bear? Now Jupiter in your ninth house of book publishing, higher education, truth and wisdom, and court cases and visas and travel and all of that stuff is offering some blessed luck right now. And that's luck can play out certainly in the next 2 to 4 weeks, and may even unfurl until next June. And this can bring you an incredible sense of, you know, Jupiter in the ninth is like, all is right, all is fair. You know, it's kind of like justice has won the day in some regard in your story. And you may also benefit from a guide, a teacher, a spiritual mentor of some kind over the next 2 or 3 weeks as well. Hygeia, the goddess of health and healing at all layers, mental, emotional, and physical, is in your fifth house. And she's been there for a while. She's trying to heal your relationship to your sexuality, your children, to your joy and vitality in life, to your sense of, you know, if you have your own business, things to do with how you run that business. And she's healing all of that for a lot of the Geminis. And she plays a part of this kite, helping Jupiter trining that sun with Jupiter to lift you up. So maybe some of you will have a greater lift as a Gemini in your love relationships, in your primary business partnerships too, as the solar light takes all of that trine energy and fortifies your 7th house. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. What did I start with? Leo. Did I start with Leo? Yes, I'm coming to the full circle. Yeah, Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. So for you guys, the moon is holding court with the handhold of a kite in your 12th house of your dreams at night, your interior life, your meditations, your reverie. This can be a place of foreign shores. It also has to do with business from foreign shores. The moon is holding a kite here. So think of PayPal and Stripe, especially in context of revenue and barter trade in foreign shores. But this is definitely, the full moon here could shed light on something in your dreams at night or your meditations to do with your own self-undoing, self-sabotaging patterns. And with the tip of the kite shining brightly in the solar energy in your 6th house of health protocols, certainly for some of you Cancers, you're going to ditch a bad habit or two to deal with health and get better. But you also might find that the work routines that you do or the collegiate relationships with your colleagues and coworkers can be improving with the solar energy as a tip of a kite in that space of the 6th house. Jupiter brings luck from your money house, your 8th house of investment monies and bank loans and spousal money and inheritance money. So good money bonus points from Jupiter coming at the end of the year. Maybe an investment pays off. Maybe you get a tax rebate. Maybe you find out that your spouse is just about to hit the jackpot with some money and that benefits you. And you'll find Hygeia in your 4th house of land, home, and real estate also lending a hand. No, Hygeia has been trying to heal your home life, your private life, your domestic life, or things that are going on in your home, or even your connection to your home or homeland, right, for a while. And so maybe the last month at least. And so Hygeia in Libra, balance in the home for you Cancer rising, is coming to the culminating moment where in a trine to Jupiter and a sextile to the sun, some things that are going on and have been happening in your home. You could be a home healer. You may be working as a healer in the home. You may be healing somebody in your home. Anyway, healing your relationship to your home or to your mother. All of this is culminating in this beautiful energy of a solar light in the 6th house. And for some of you Cancers, this could be about the ideal job opportunity to work as a healer or work in a healing arts area from home or at home. But the money piece is lovely. Jupiter brings money blessings, no doubt about it. And you've got Uranus in the house of good spirit in a square to Saturn. So you could have a money breakthrough through tension by the next couple of months. Unexpected, but Uranus in the 11th house can bring a bit of a windfall to you. And, where could the windfall come from? Lord, I don't know where that windfall could come from. It's coming from somewhere. I'm going to say that some of you Cancers could get a nice little chunk of money through a windfall of some sort. I'm going to stick with that story, especially because Mercury is in a trine to Uranus, and Mercury is the ruler of your 3rd house of aunts, uncles, cousins, and siblings. So, hey, some of you Cancer risings especially could have an aunt, uncle, or cousin or sibling help you in a financial way unexpectedly. All right, we are done. This is the end of that story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I actually enjoy giving you the delineation today, and so that's a good thing. And stay tuned for more. I'm going to be talking about Chiron heading direct on the 19th and Venus going retrograde on the 19th, and a new video that'll cover both of those, I think, as one video. So stay tuned for that one as well coming up this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check my description box below for everything I have on for sale and everything else. You want to catch my all signs bundle if you are into this stuff, because you'll look at your rising sign, sun, and moon. Plus you can look at friends and family and pass it on. I don't care. For $47, all 12 signs. The bundles are like 75-minute videos, 60 to 75-minute videos. However, for 22. Consider subscribing to my newsletter down below, Cosmic Moonshine, a swig of weekly astrology news, and you're going to get a discount code to buy that bundle for only $33 or $32.90 instead. All right, or each sign instead of $14.97 for $10. Okay. All right, ciao guys. Thanks for listening. Take care.